up, wrestling fans?
That's right, listen up. It is time for another edition of Strong Honor, here where we talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling and Ring of Honor. And yeah, there's a lot to talk about this week. We had the big New Beginning from Sapporo show. We had a free Ring of Honor pay-per-view, kind of an introductory Honor Club, kind of a free for view to check out. So we'll talk about that. Ring of Honor TV from last week was a episode. We'll talk about that. And we got to talk about some upcoming things, and all of this stuff is kind of tying together with the Bullet Club and everything that's going on Being the Elite. And we've got big matches, of course, announced for some upcoming shows as we go through what happened on the New Beginning and everything else. So I'm Tommy Stryker. Thanks for joining the show. Joining me, Taco.
What up?
Joe is here.
Howdy.
And
howdy.
Yeah, lots of stuff to talk about this week for sure. Really good New Beginning show. Taco, I know you saw most of that. You saw the whole thing, I'm assuming.
Yeah, pretty much skimmed through it, but I watched the big matches and everything, and yeah, it was a fun event.
Yeah, my two, obviously, I think everybody's favorite matches probably are going to be Will Ospreay versus Hiromu Takahashi, which we just watched again for the second time here just before we recorded the show. But also, I really like the main event, Sonata versus Okada. I didn't get to watch it until Saturday night because I worked on Saturday, so I logged off of all social media, just like I did for Wrestle Kingdom. Turned everything off, logged out, and stayed completely spoiler-free, which I think really enhanced the experience for me because I had no idea what was going on with any of the finishes going in. And so there was all the speculation online on Twitter, people going crazy like, is Sonata going to be the one to finally break Okada's big streak? And of course he was not.
Nope.
But if you didn't know that going into the match, made for a very interesting match, I thought. I thought it was one of the better matches. I thought it was a match of the year candidate so far. I liked that better than the Okada-Naito match at Wrestle Kingdom. I liked the Ospreay and Hiromu match is one of my favorites of the year. Probably the best match of the year I've seen thus far, better than anything at Wrestle Kingdom, in my opinion, at this point. So high praise from me for both of those matches. Joe, you just got done watching Hiromu and Ospreay for the first time. What's your thoughts?
Fucking insane what these two can do in the ring. They just have so much chemistry. I mean, what the fuck was it? The Hiromu counter at the end. That's the one that got me.
There were tons of them.
But the one he counters basically into a pile driver almost.
Yeah, where Ospreay goes for Hiromu's finisher, the time bomb, and then Hiromu counters it into like a code red kind of a thing, basically a flipping pile driver, more or less. So, yeah, just that was an insane match, of course. Well, let's kind of run through the card and talk about kind of my thoughts and your thoughts, Taco and Joe, anything that pops up as we kind of go through. I kind of want to run through chronologically through the weekend, this last week of wrestling, as it were. So we'll kind of hit the New Japan from the 10th and then the Ring of Honor show. I think that was that also Friday night or was that Saturday?
That was Friday.
Either way, either they were the same night or the night after. I watched it, ended up watching it on Sunday. But anyway, we'll hit New Beginning. We'll talk the Honor reigns supreme from Concord, North Carolina, then wrap it up with the Ring of Honor TV. But back at the opening match for the New Beginning show, Katsuya Kitamura in his best of 7 series, the big jacked up young lion taking on Yuji Nagata. This is toughest test to this point, and Nagata really did not hold back.
No.
Really took the strikes to poor Kitamura, beat the snot out of him. Kitamura uses a torture rack, and Nagata doesn't submit, of course. He challenges him with slaps to the face and whatnot. I thought it was interesting with Kitamura using that torture rack, that being one of Nakanishi, his moves or whatever. And then after the match, as Kitamura is down and crawling around on the floor, selling the loss to Nagata, Nakanishi comes back into the back there and says, I will challenge you again in another singles opportunity. So interesting that it's going to be Nagata and Kitamura one more time here coming up. So I wonder if we'll get a different result here with those two. But
it's a solid win if he gets that notch under his belt. It kind of gets his character moving.
Absolutely, but it's certainly not uncommon for when they do these best of 7 with young lions. They did it with Naito back in the day. I think they did it with, somebody was talking about this online. Anyway, whenever they've done these in the past with other young lions, the young lions typically go winless, and it leads into them going on excursion or whatever and going away for a while and then coming back. Again, Kitamura goes for that jackhammer just too soon. I think the story is that Kitamura just gets too hyped up, gets too excited, goes for stuff too soon when he's not ready to put his opponents away.
Just can't blow your wad, dude.
Exactly.
Simmer down now.
And that's what Nagata talked about in his post-match promo. He's like, he gets too excited when he's on defense. He doesn't know what to do defensively as a pro wrestler. But you have to realize that pro wrestling is a fight, and you have to be ready to fight. And so I just like the Nagata talking about pro wrestling in those terms in his post-match promo. El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru did defeat Roppongi 3K non-title match for the IWGP Junior titles, but they did beat him with a lot of skullduggery in this match. I thought
you got to use a few tricks up your sleeve, if you know what I mean. A bit of the old skullduggery.
Yeah, of course, the typical Suzuki Gun nonsense in the match. Show's back is still taped up, selling those injuries from the 2 Young Bucks matches, so that was in play. Of course, that played into the finish with them attacking Show's back with the chair going into the finish. So not only did they win with a Boston Crab, which was a kind of a shot at being a former Young Lions, but they did it with a chair shot to the back going into the finish. So after the match, Rocky Romero teased the idea of maybe challenging them, although it'd be odd for champions to challenge challengers, but maybe challenging these challengers to a no disqualification street fight type of scenario. So possibly...
Well, he's really pushing these guys, too, as the next big star, so that's what... why I would see him be like, we're fucking challenging you if you're going to beat us like that. So
sure.
That's how I can see it that way.
And, as these young up-and-comers, fine, you want to play dirty, we'll beat you at your own game kind of a thing. Although, we, as wrestling fans, we know that a no disqualification and shenanigans-type skullduggery matches always usually play into the heel's hands. So watch out for that, of course. But it'll make for an interesting story, I think, going forward with those two. Although it would be very rare, again, for New Japan to have a no DQ, street fight type of match. It's not something they do very often. So we'll see what happens there.
2018's been a weird fucking year, though.
Absolutely. New Japan has been doing a lot more gimmick matches over the past couple of years. I mean, started with Kenny Omega and Michael Elgin in a ladder match for the Intercontinental title last year. So they've been coming around more and more on gimmick matches, being that they have more Western fans now, more worldly fans, more fans kind of coming over from the land of only knowing WWE, and so they're...
I don't want them to go crazy with it, though. Like, even though I'm just a minimal, New Japan fan, the nice thing about going to New Japan is I know that stuff's not going to happen too often. I'm not going to see chairs. I'm not going to see tables on a regular basis. It's kind of nice to just see fucking wrestling.
The bullshit continues.
Yeah, and that is what kind of stands out initially with New Japan, is that it's a lot of just straight up wrestling, a lot no frills, not a lot of bullshit. And so when there is bullshit involved, it's like, oh my God, here we go. Why are we doing this? So I think that's why a lot of New Japan fans are frustrated with the Yanos of the world and the Suzuki Guns of the world, the Yoshinobu Kanemaru and his goddamn whiskey bottle, and Juice Robinson, being upset at Yano.
Every match, Toru Yano takes off the damn turnbuckle pad.
So all of that coming into play. Togi Makabe and his team took on Minoru Suzuki and his team in a big 8-man match. Makabe did get the win with his King Kong knee drop over Taka Michinoku, and he did challenge Suzuki again, and this time Suzuki accepted the challenge for Makabe challenging for the Intercontinental title. So we don't have a date for that match yet. yet. Could be the anniversary show coming up on the 6th of March. Could be after the New Japan Cup sometime. Who knows? Could be not during the Honor Rising tournament. Not tournament, but the Honor Rising shows coming up in a couple of weeks, which we do have cards for, by the way. I'll make sure to look those up here once we get. Well, let's get through talking about everything here. Then I definitely want to go over the Honor Rising cards because some really interesting matchups. But yeah, we're not sure when Makabe is going to be facing Suzuki yet, but that certainly could be a headlining match for the anniversary show. But although we do have a big headlining match that we'll get to that has definitely been announced, which will be taking place at the anniversary show on the 6th. So, but no reason that couldn't co-main event or something else down the line. Of course, did I put? Sakura Genesis.
Sakura
is March 1st. Very close to WrestleMania weekend. We've got Strong Style Evolved.
April 1st.
April 1st. And then March 25th, a week before that, is Strong Style Evolved here in the United States. So certainly that could be plenty of opportunities to see when that match could take place. Although they like to, it's probably going to be sooner than later. So probably an anniversary show match since they've been teasing it for quite a while here. Then we had a big announcement that it will be Rey Mysterio Jr. challenging Jushin Thunder Liger at Strong Style Evolved. We were just talking possible matches for that Strong Style Evolved show. A big rumor for that Strong Style Evolved show was Chris Jericho versus Naito. And now all the hubbub online is that with the big announcement that Rey Mysterio Jr. is going to have the big match with Jushin Thunder Liger, maybe saving Chris Jericho, especially since Strong Style Evolved sold out so quickly. They don't necessarily need that big name, that big. The thing's already sold out. They don't need to bring in the big.
Doesn't mean Chris Jericho doesn't enjoy going over there to make an appearance.
Well, absolutely, and it's a lot easier trip for a guy like Chris Jericho, being that it's in the United States. Even easier trip for Rey Mysterio Jr., being that it's in California.
Told you, we got to get a Fozzy tour schedule up in here.
I know, that's the next whiteboard that we need is the Fozzy tour schedule whiteboard. But yeah, a lot of people that were speculating, is Jericho going to show up at Strong Style Evolved now, thinking probably not, just because it's already sold out. They've already got another big name in Rey Mysterio Jr., not to mention all the other New Japan stars there. So is
Rey going to be on that cruise of Jericho's?
I don't know that he has been announced for that yet, but that's certainly a possibility. But Rey is not a cheap talent. We know that much. He charges quite a bit for his appearances. So
that's what I'm saying. What a weird 2018's been already. You got Jericho on WWE, New Japan, and Ring of Honor television. Right. And now you're getting Mysterio almost in the same boat.
Right. Mysterio's been on Lucha Underground, going to New Japan. Everybody's saying he's going to New Japan when he's just going to down the road.
He's doing a match.
He's going down the road, basically.
With someone he's had a match with already.
Right. So there's that. But yeah, it'll still be really cool either way. Going back to the new beginning, Bushi did defeat Gato, got his masks back that Gato took from him. Nothing.
Try to hack off his beard at the end there.
Yep, it was Bushi trying to get at Gato's beard. Gato trying to get more masks off of Bushi. It was Bushi getting his win back.
I really did like Gato coming out with both masks in each hand, though, on his entrance, though.
Yoshihashi did lose to Tetsuya Naito, as speculated by most people on the internet, but he did bring some fighting spirit.
I thought it was a good match.
I gave it. I would put it just under 4. I put it at 3 3/4. So high praise for me, I am not a fan of Yoshihashi, but he did definitely bring it here in the match. And the story here is, after the match, Tai Chi of Suzuki Gun attacking Naito on the stage, taking the fight backstage, attacking him some more, and then Naito, after getting beaten up by Tai Chi, after he leaves, he goes back to the press area and says, "All right, let's conduct a proper press conference now." Wow, that Tai Chi, he really showed me something. I haven't seen that side of Tai Chi in 6 years, since something in Mexico. But let's be honest, of course I would bring that out in Tai Chi. I'm way above his level, and he's way down here. He's got a lot of work to go before he comes up to my level. So Naito being the typical Naito, being very tranquilo, even after being, beaten up by Tai Chi. So I'm thinking that we're going to get Naito Tai Chi probably at Strong Style Evolved, if not at the anniversary show.
Well, hopefully this fire can stay in someone like Yoshihashi. This is kind of what I've been saying for a little while now. There's something in that guy, and since New Japan's really kicking it off now, he really needs to step it up. And this was a good boost with the Naito feud there, and hopefully he can take advantage of it. The same with Tai Chi. Hopefully he can keep the momentum there and kind of stick out as a more, individual name.
Yeah, it's interesting because, they're building up some names. We've got the New Japan Cup starting next month, so with Tai Chi getting some momentum, just beating the shit out of Naito, that's a potential first-round matchup. And, of course, with Yoshihashi showing this fire now, he could have a nice little run in the New Japan Cup as well. Juice continues talking about the New Japan Cup. He talked about it in his post-match interviews. He still wants to challenge Jay White's the Switchblade. So that's very interesting there. Other notable things, Juice. Jay White talked about a potential winner for the New Japan Cup in his post-match interview.
Sir, for my next prediction, New Japan Cup. I don't know who is exactly in it. However, I am sure, Ishii, you will be in it. I hope you are. Because, sir, you are my pick. Ishii, I am behind you, sir, for the New Japan Cup. And hopefully when you win, if any part of you wants a shot at this, please feel free. I'm not like Okada. I'm not going to tell you no. I would love for you, Ishii, to come after this. But if not, by all means, I think you should go after Okada too. See if he tells you not to do it. And then we'll be proving me right once again that Okada is holding the people in Chaos back, denying them opportunity.
So Jay White doing his best impression of Cody Rhodes in the Bullet Club, stirring the pot. Of course, Ishii, Jay White, and Kazuchika Okada, all part of the Chaos faction.
It's not so bitchy when he does it, though. It's just so cutthroat, like, hey, motherfuckers, we're here to win championships. You in or you out?
Well, and again, saying, Ishii, I welcome your challenge for my United States title, but if you want to go for Okada, I think Okada should give you that title shot. Not to mention, Ishii is due a title shot because he defeated Okada in the G1 Climax 2 years ago. So, lots of potential options here. As far as Ishii goes, I like Ishii winning the cup. I like Ishii going a long way in the cup. Remember, you got typically they don't have the champions in the New Japan Cup because the winner challenges for the championship of their choice. So right now, not only does Ishii not have a title, neither does Kenny Omega anymore. So there's a big, there's a potential big final matchup for you. Repeat from last year's G1 and special in the USA for the big tournament for the US title. The crowned Kenny Omega, so that could be a potential rematch between Ishii and Omega. Great matches that they had.
Win back.
Exactly, and I like Ishii as a dark, not even a dark horse, but I think he's going to be a popular pick amongst people for winning the New Japan Cup. Yeah. And I kind of like this idea of maybe some interfaction warfare going on a little bit here. Even LIJ has kind of hinted at that a little bit in the build-up to Sonata versus Okada. Sonata talked about how he thought Evil would defeat Okada last year before the Tokyo Dome, and that it would be Naito versus Evil as the main event of Wrestle Kingdom. So Sonata was like looking forward to that and looking forward to making his opportunity either versus Naito or Evil. Right. But it wasn't, of course, that way, and so now he challenged Okada in the main event. So
everyone's crumbling as Suzuki goons just sitting there on their thrones laughing.
There's definitely something a little bit.
It is quite the evil laugh too.
We talked about Ospreay versus Takahashi. Ospreay did indeed get that win there, and with the beheading back elbow and the Os cutter, that beheading back elbow
I don't know
that he
how
does.
I feel about it yet.
I love it because again, the very first time I saw it was at Final Battle versus Matt Taven, when he basically murdered Matt Taven with it. And so I have just that image of him like hitting Matt Taven with the damn thing. And so every time he does it to somebody else, even though it hasn't looked as devastating, it's still like, oh my God, it's a devastating move. Right. So that's kind of there in the back of my head. So, and I like that he's mixing it up a little bit too, where typically it's been the Robinson special, that spin kick into the Os cutter, and so now him mixing in the beheading, that back elbow or whatever, that back fist to the back of the head, just mixing that in. I like a little bit of variety in there, and again, a phenomenal hot start matchup, just amazing spots in the thing. Some danger, of course, between these two, but we don't see it all the time either, and I like that they turn it up for the big events. So hell of a match,
and you could tell just the utmost respect for each other too, like just like interacting
trust
at the end of the match too, like not just like in each other's faces or which not that anyone really does, but.
And that's different, too, because they've been building this. They've been talking about this LIJ versus Chaos warfare, this feud that's been going on in New Japan, where these two have kind of been goofy with each other on Twitter. We had the goofy press conference that we talked about last week, where Hiromu brought him fried chicken or whatever, and that whole thing, which was very funny. Again, I talked about it last week, and after watching the translated version with the subtitles that you can find on YouTube now, very, very funny, worth checking out. But so that's a fun part of the story, that they can go in there and murder each other during the match, but then have that fun and that fun friendship, but also a respect.
Don Callis and Kevin Kelly really put into perfect words during the match about how much they respect each other and how they can interact with each other, but like they can still go out and, like you said, kill each other in the middle of that ring,
which is really refreshing in pro wrestling, especially when they have this faction warfare between Chaos and LIJ, when it's usually everybody at each other's throats. These two actually have a respect for each other, a storyline sense, where I'm sure everybody the whole thing has respect for each other, but in the story that we are presented, it's refreshing because it's not something that you see all the time. So, sandwiched in between that awesome junior and the awesome main event, we had Hirooki Goto versus Evil, which I thought was a fine match, but again, the Goto matches just haven't done that much for me, and Goto getting the win here, somewhat predictable, but I think a lot of people wanted to see Evil get the win. Evil cuts off Goto with a chair outside.
I almost kind of wish they swapped this match with one of the other two, because like that Yoshihashi Naito match kind of stuck out a little bit more to me, and I thought it was like two back-to-back, like just matches, and then it was just sudden, just like, oh yeah, what's going on?
This felt like a buffer match, which you don't typically feel in New Japan. I thought that they could have put the junior heavyweight match on semi-main event and put this third from the top.
Kept that high going into it, but
sure. But yeah, again, Goto suplexes Evil onto some chairs outside the ring later. Evil uses Goto's big wooden ball necklace after another.
Those aren't anal beads. I'm sorry, I had to go there.
I'm not going to go there. I don't know if I have my gross. I don't have my.
I'm sorry.
Oh, hey man, that's gross.
I don't have my best pro wrestling sound bites up right now. But
sorry, fuck. Sorry, continue.
But that is so profane, Taco, and rude. But yeah, Goto had this big wooden ball necklace that he wore out to the ring with him that came into play. Evil ended up using it against him.
Probably symbolizes something. I just shit on someone.
There was good late fighting spirit late in the match. Good near falls, whatever. Like I said, I thought it was fine. 3 1/4 stars for me. But again, just Goto just doesn't do much for me. What am I going to do? Big Evil fan over here. Finally, the main event. Kazuchika.
I really didn't think Evil really stuck out either in this match.
No, that was just it too. It was just kind of there. Evil doing his typical, his chair spots outside the ring. Running him into the post, all that stuff. So it was just kind of a match.
It was neat.
It wasn't meant for them to stand out and be a big match. It was the Ospreay Hiromu match and this main event. Which
good title defense for Goto though.
Yeah. Again, Okada versus Sonata in the main event. I thought this was 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I've seen other people rate it 4.5, which is fine. And I haven't gone back and rewatched this one, but my initial watching of it, and again, watching it unspoiled, not knowing the result of the match, I thought played into my emotions of the match as I was watching it. So I really enjoyed it. Sonata did a pile driver on the ramp after throwing Okada into the rail. Early in-ring pile driver for a near fall at around the 10-minute mark. Okada counters Sonata's Ric Flair spot where he does the flip out of the corner and does the big springboard. Okada counters that with a big springboard drop kick with a draping. Anyway, I'm getting my spots all fucked up here. I hate reading the spots or whatever from my notes. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
These guys are so all over the place.
Right. I thought it was a very good match. And again, knowing... I should really go back and watch it a second time now that I know the finisher, because I think that makes a bit of a difference. Maybe 4.5 is more appropriate. But I thought it was very good. And I thought it was a star-making moment. Not only the match itself, but the build-up to the match where we finally got Sonata talking a little bit. I thought that was notable. I watched some of the interviews with the translations, and Sonata looked like a star, came across like a star, talked like someone who had a passion and a love for pro wrestling. And I thought Okada made Sonata look great in this match and made it so that whenever Sonata has big matches in the future, whether it's for a title, main event spot, or even just a big tournament match, whether it's in the G1 or the upcoming, again, going back to the New Japan Cup, Sonata could be a big dark horse in that thing and have a chance to go a long way, because I think this was a match that really cemented him as a big main eventer.
He's definitely someone that looks like he can stick out on his own.
And again, he was a guy that I was down on coming out of the G1 last year, thinking that he was going to have a big performance last year, and it was disappointing.
A lot of people thought he was.
Where Evil was kind of the standout. Now I think this might be Sonata's year. Let's see how he does. I mean, obviously, this was a great moment for him going... Anytime you're in the ring with Okada, I mean, look at the matches Okada has had over the past year and a half. All of them have been damn great. And so... having Okada as a dance partner certainly doesn't hurt a guy like Sonata. Obviously, that helps. Yep. But let's see how he performs going ahead. Let's see how he does in the New Japan Cup. Let's see how he does in other main events, and let's see how he does coming up in the G1.
With Jay White.
That would be hot. That would be really good. So after the match, the story here, Okada doing his post-match promo. He says, "Look, I've defeated everybody of note. I'm challenging whoever wins this New Japan Cup to step up, and let's see what happens." And then he said, "Let's go back to an old tradition at what they've done in the past at the anniversary show. The IWGP Heavyweight Champion would challenge the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, or would challenge a junior heavyweight anyway." And so Okada here challenged Will Ospreay.
Okay.
So that'll probably be your main event for the anniversary show on the 6th of March. For New Japan,
Switchblade shaking things up a bit.
So yeah, again, not even Switchblade here, but again, they're opening up this idea of interfaction warfare.
I just like
here.
that he's getting in Okada's mind before he makes his move on Okada, though.
Really funny moment, though, from the post-match press conference backstage. Okada's doing his thing, talking to the press. Ospreay comes in, says a bunch of stuff, says, "I'm going to beat you." Basically, I'm going to do something that all the other men that couldn't beat you do. I'm going to defeat you, It just cuts a little promo on Okada, nothing big. Talked about their history, how Okada discovered Will Ospreay back in 2015 in a match that they had in Great Britain, and how Okada brought Will Ospreay to New Japan and had him join Chaos, and talked about that backstory. So Ospreay comes in, talks about all of that, and then one of the reporters asks Okada, "What did Ospreay just say to you?" And Okada says, "I have no idea." So he cuts this long promo talking about all this, but then Okada goes on to say, "Well, I'm sure he said that he plans on defeating me at the anniversary show," and talked about our history. So he didn't know what he said, but he had got the gist of what he said, basically, just from him. But Okada did talk about how I like his moxie. I like that he stepped up to me and it showed me that attitude. So even though there's the language barrier, the universal language of pro wrestling
Right.
stands out there. So yeah, anniversary show Okada versus Ospreay should be really, really good.
Fuck yeah.
Possibly Minoru Suzuki versus Togi Makabe, which I've brought up. I'm looking forward to that. Makabe hasn't been in a big title match in a couple of years. He had those really good matches with Ishii a few years ago, with them two going back and forth for the never open weight title. If you haven't seen those, go back and check those out on New Japan World, because those are some hard-hitting slobber knockers, as they say.
And that's what you can expect with a Suzuki versus Makabe match.
Absolutely. Now, give me just a minute here. Talk amongst yourselves as I dig up these Honor Rising shows here on my computer here.
That was awesome. That was like, what are they on? Fight TV, Facebook?
Yeah, they did everything.
Twitch or what? I think, yeah, they were on there. Like, they're really working their that streaming service out, and I fucking loved the set, the layout of everything.
You're talking the Ring of Honor show.
The Ring of Honor show,
Okay.
yeah. Is that what we're about to get into?
Well, I do want to get into that, but before we get in, should we? I wanted to preview the Honor Rising shows in New Japan coming up at the end of the month, and that's kind of what I'm digging up now, because I didn't have those in front of me. But should we talk? Well, let's, since I've got it right here, let's run through it. So, 23rd and 24th of February, both from Korakuen Hall, Ring of Honor and New Japan colliding. So we got a couple of days, some fun cards. We're going to get Don Callis calling Ring of Honor guys for the first time ever.
Holy smokes.
Opening match from the first night, Katsuya Kitamura and Toa Henare, a couple of young lions teaming up against Yujiro and Bad Luck Fale. So Young Lions versus Bullet Club there. Second match, Cheeseburger, Delirious, and Jushin Thunder Liger teaming up against more Bullet Club guys, Hikuleo, Tongaloa, and Tamatonga. So partial... Part of the never open weight 6-man titles there, but not a full 6-man match. But interesting, Cheeseburger and Jushin Thunder Liger teaming up there. Jushin Liger taking a liking to Cheeseburger, showing him the Shote palm strike and all of that several years back. Then Juice and David Finlay teaming up against the Young Bucks. That should be a fun match. Then a really cool 3-way match. Kushida, Hiromu Takahashi, and Flip Gordon in a 3-way. That should be a lot of fun. Then a 6-man, Taguchi, Jay Lethal, and Dalton Castle taking on the Best Friends and Jay White. Interesting, the Best Friends and Jay White teaming up there, because they're all chaos, but then Dalton Castle on the other side of the Best Friends should be a fun little back and forth. And Dalton Castle teaming up with Taguchi is interesting as well. So that should be fun there. Then, for the Never Openweight Championship, Hiro Okigoto, the current Never Openweight Champion, versus my favorite, my pick to take the Never Openweight Championship. I want it to happen so hard. The Beer City Bruiser.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
There's no way it's going to happen, but oh my God, if the BCB takes the Never Openweight title, I will pop so hard. That would be a lot of fun. BCB is my, he's my guilty pleasure of Ring of Honor, along with Silas Young. Disappointing, no Silas Young on on this tour, at least not on these dates. So I wonder what happened there, because he's the current TV champion over there at Ring of Honor. So makes you wonder if something's going to happen at that Ring of Honor anniversary show. But that's not till the Ring of Honor anniversary show is after the Honor Rising shows. The Ring of Honor anniversary is the 9th of March, and these are happening on the 23rd and 24th.
Maybe he doesn't want to fuck around with New Japan.
So, big main event from the first night, Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, the Golden Lovers, teaming up with Bullet Club's Chase Owens versus Marty Scurll, Hangman Page, and Cody Rhodes. So
Marty Scurll did not agree to this.
Marty Scurll says he did not agree to this. It's been very interesting.
And Hangman Page said he did.
Right. Yeah, it's been really interesting the last couple of Being the Elites. Cody has taken on a, quote, leadership role in Bullet Club. The Young Bucks have been very reluctant. Of course, we had the scene where Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi entered into the Young Bucks hotel room in Japan, but we have not had much follow-up on that on Being the Elite yet. It's just been Cody.
Thinking sex tape?
I'm thinking, I'm thinking alliance. I'm definitely not going there, but I'm thinking some kind of alliance, because it was funny on the latest version of Being the Elite. Cody wants to address the the elephant in the room with the Young Bucks. And not that the breakup with Cody has happened, but that the Young Bucks should move up to being heavyweights in New Japan. So that was very interesting. And then later in the show, the Young Bucks confide in one Flip Gordon, of all people. They do like a therapy session on the couch for several hours where the Young Bucks go over all the woes of the Bullet Club, and Flip Gordon talks them through it. They said it was kind of weird, all the flat earth stuff, but it was good to get the stuff off their chest and have someone to talk to about it. So that was some fun stuff there. So that's night 1 of the of Honor Rising. Night 2, just as cool. A lot of fun stuff on there. Toa Henare in a singles match versus the Beer City Bruiser. Ooh. Hopefully the new never openweight champion, the Beer City Bruiser. Although
that's happening.
Probably not, because it's the first match on the following night. You're probably not going to put the
never a hell of a way to open a show, man,
on the opening match, but who knows. Big 6-man tag, Jay Lethal teaming up with Juice and Finlay versus some Bullet Club guys, Hikuleo, Chase Owens, and Yujiro Takahashi. Then Flip Gordon teams up with Taguchi, interesting new member to possibly Taguchi Japan, versus a couple of Los Ingobernables guys, Hiromu Takahashi and Bushi. So it'll be fun to see Flip interacting more with Hiromu here, and also Bushi.
And Bushi, yeah.
Then we have the never openweight 6-man championship match. The current champions, Fale and the Gorillas of Destiny, going against Delirious, Jushin Thunder Liger, and Cheeseburger.
Yes.
Certainly the never openweight 6-man belts have been known to change hands quite a bit, except for, I always like to point out that the Los Ingobernables guys had those titles for a good chunk of last year, despite the titles being booked as hot potatoes early in their existence. We did have a little hot potatoing back and forth between the Gorillas and Bad Luck Fale earlier this year at Wrestle Kingdom, but certainly a possibility of Cheeseburger getting some gold here in New Japan.
Think he's going to pin Bad Luck Fale?
You never know. I doubt it here. I'm thinking. I honestly kind of hope that Fale and the Gorillas just keep him here, but we'll see. Then Chucky T, Jay White, and Yoshihashi team up against a Bullet Club team here, the Young Bucks and Hangman Page. So interesting.
The Hung Bucks.
The Hung Bucks teaming up. I shouldn't say it's
not champs, are they?
They still are champs at this point, unless there's some TV spoiler out there that we aren't aware of, which is certainly possible, because Ring of Honor did just tape another big chunk of TV that I've stayed spoiler free from. So that's definitely a possible. And I've heard that now I haven't seen spoilers, but I have heard that there are a lot of interesting developments coming up on the next. That happened on the last set of Ring of Honor TV tapings. When we get to the new TV tapings on TV, still might be a couple of weeks yet, but we'll talk about that as they come up. But I did hear that there is some interesting stuff coming up on the Ring of Honor TV tapings. But yes, certainly here the Hung Bucks, certainly they could still be the tag team or the 6-man tag team champions going into this match, but who knows at this point. Then what we got here, Dalton Castle, the current Ring of Honor champion, defending his title against Beretta.
Ooh,
that should be good there. And then the main event, the Golden Lovers teaming up on a regular tag team, Kota Ibushi and Kenny Omega versus Marty Scurll and Cody. So a straight-up tag team match to do for night 2.
It's going to be interesting to see how night 1 goes with Scurll then.
Absolutely. And yeah, it should be an interesting couple of nights altogether there. Okay, so let's move on and talk this Honor Reigns Supreme stuff. Full disclosure here, our recording stopped and we had to kind of restart here. So we have to repeat the last 5 minutes of talking that we just did. So it'll be repetitive to us, but hopefully it will be informative to everybody else. So Honor Reigns Supreme. We got into talking about Honor Club here and kind of what that's going to entail. This was kind of a test run of a house show that they're going to be putting up live on this Honor Club streaming service, and that's kind of what we're just talking about was how the hook for Honor Club is going to be access to these live quote-unquote house shows that they're going to do. But what they talked about on this pay-per-view is they're not really going to be doing quote house shows anymore. They're going to try to make these tour shows that they do be important and be go to stuff that you want to watch basically on Honor Club. So not only will it be the weekly TV show, but they're going to try to fill in those gaps with big stuff on Honor Club on these house shows. And then of course the bigger shows, the big pay-per-views that they have every couple of months or so will be available for the premium price, the $120 annually that you pay up front, or you can order the pay-per-views at the you get a half price discount if you belong to the regular Honor Club at $10 a month, or if you don't belong to Honor Club, you pay the full price depending on
pay the full price
depending on where you order it. Fight TV, there's like $35. I think they're $40 or $45 if you order them through your cable operator. But certainly, so going back to the Honor Club thing,
that $120 worth it.
We talked about how you guys had some trouble watching some Ring of Honor stuff recently.
Not necessarily trouble. It's just the advertisements are dog shit now. Like,
on the Fight TV app.
On the Fight TV app, yeah. Like, I watched both of the this week's Ring of Honor television and that special they had, both on the Fight TV app. I guess it was on Facebook Live, Fight TV app, other streaming services. So they're trying other outlets too, which is refreshing to hear. But just the event itself wasn't so bad. Just this week's Ring of Honor TV was really fucking bad. It was like it'd be in the middle of someone's promo and just cut to a commercial break and then bring you right back. And then
that's interesting. Yeah,
it was just really not good. And then like 2 seconds later or 2 minutes later, it'd be right back into a commercial again, and then go into the match. A couple moves would happen, and it's just like, what the fuck? Like I can't even watch this.
The problem is that you're watching the commercials that are for the show. Like the show just has commercials. So you'll be watching a commercial, and then sometimes even in the middle of a commercial, it'll cut to a Fight TV commercial.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't see any Fight TV commercials.
Like they're not like for Fight TV, but they're obviously like people who paid Fight TV for advertisements. So
I didn't get any of those. I wonder if that's a Fight TV issue trying to insert their own commercials at weird spots.
Well, how were you watching? I was watching on a web browser.
I was watching on a phone.
Okay.
And I watched I started on the Fight TV app on my phone and then sent it to my Chromecast, and which I didn't have any of those issues. So that'll be interesting to see.
I'm used to commercials, but I don't know. This week's was. I kind of noticed it last week, but this week was really bad.
Like the Ring of Honor, typically the commercial on there is like that CPAP commercial. On the Fight TV app. So I imagine that's probably, if that's how you're watching Ring of Honor TV, that's probably something that Ring of Honor sells that everybody's getting. But yeah, if Fight TV is also inserting their own advertising in there, that's probably what's kind of throwing the monkey wrench into the process there.
It's just weird if they could work it out to where maybe it just plays right after their commercial, whatever it may be, but like that's...
Well, the show is set up to have its commercial breaks for TV and everything, so it's just like it's not that hard to set that up.
Right. Well, I wonder how that'll be for Honor Club going forward, because obviously Ring of Honor is going to have their own apps on Android and iPhone. They're going to try to have Roku stuff. They're going to try to get on as many platforms as possible, as well as they're supposedly revamping the Ring of Honor website, which will be probably the place most people will be able to watch Honor Club once it launches. So it'll be interesting to see how all of that kind of shakes out as this Honor Club thing rolls out. And they did talk about on Honor Reigns Supreme about having Honor Club ready for the 16th anniversary pay-per-view.
Like that's the goal.
By early next month on the 9th of March. So hopefully it is up and running by then, so that we don't have to pay full price for the pay-per-view and go ahead and get the Honor Club for $120 a year. But I did not watch it live, so I did watch it after the fact. But I didn't have any issues watching it myself, where it sounds like you guys did. But that could be
it wasn't the event itself. It was just the
Fight
television
TV thing. Yeah. Interesting. So I thought it was a fun show overall. Nothing too eventful on the show itself. But
Tennille Dashwood making her debut.
I was just going to say a couple of big interesting announcements with Tennille Dashwood, the former Emma. It's all about her getting entered into the Women of Honor tournament and having a tag team match on the show there. So that was good stuff there. Silas Young beating Josh Woods in a non-title match. Josh Woods was in for Cheeseburger, who couldn't make the booking for whatever reason. Of course, the Beer City Bruisers skullduggery at ringside there was pretty normal.
Skullduggery.
Which actually, that's what brought up the Marty Scurll line.
You got to use a few tricks up your sleeve, if you know what I mean. A bit of the old skullduggery.
And actually, was he out there? Was he out there for that match, or what match was he?
He was out there for Punishment Martinez.
That's what it was.
That was on Ring of Honor television, though.
Yeah. That's right. That was something else. So, but yeah, overall, it was a decent show. Punishment Martinez did beat Flip Gordon with these.
Dude's getting really good shape, too.
Yeah, both of those guys, but yeah, definitely Punishment slimming up, looking more athletic.
Way better match on this show than with Dalton Castle.
Sure. Shane Taylor got beat by Kenny King. He's got a big match versus Silas Young coming up, the big rematch for the television title. So they're kind of building up Kenny King there. Let's see. And it's a nice little show of respect, I thought, after between Kenny King and Shane Taylor, which was a little bit unexpected, being that Shane Taylor's kind of been this hired gun heel kind of a character.
For sure.
Let's see. Dalton Castle and the boys took on SoCal Uncensored. SoCal Uncensored got the win there. Scorpio Sky got the win over a boy in the match. But Dalton Castle stands tall after hitting the bangarang on a couple of SoCal Uncensored guys. Briscoes continued to demand a title shot.
Vicious.
They keep calling the Ring of Honor titles their property and such there. They stand tall after a J Driller. They call out Alex Shelley. He comes out, gets beaten up by the Briscoes. So on and so forth. Stacy Shadows and Kelly Klein teamed up against the aforementioned Tennille Dashwood, teaming up with Mandy Leone. Brandy was on commentary, Brandy Rhodes. Couldn't really tell if she was a babyface or a heel, even though she was definitely sliding towards more towards the babyface side.
I liked how Cole Cabana was not having any ears. I thought she wasn't great. She wasn't bad, though, but I just liked how she was like, because we're friends, Colt. And he was like, oh, I don't know about that.
Jonathan Gresham versus Jay Lethal. I really like that match. Jay Lethal with his big yellow boots, showing a tribute to the Macho Man. There. Yeah. Joe, do you have some comments on this one?
Well, just the chain wrestling between these guys, like just so technical. And again, like Jonathan Gresham, every single match, I love this guy more and more. I don't care about his size. I don't care about it. He can take you down just by fucking taking your ankle out. And I love
with his fingers.
I love them both allowing each other to hit each other's injuries. I'm going to kick the shit out of your leg. I'm going to punch the shit out of your shoulder.
Yeah. And again, I like this idea of him kind of bringing back that pure fighting style, that pure wrestling style, because it's a change of pace on a Ring of Honor show with a lot of different styles, a lot of different high-flying stuff, and him just kind of bringing things down a notch and just focusing on a different style of pro wrestling.
I kind of like, was it the Honor belt? The Honor Championship?
It was called the Pure title.
The Pure title. I kind of like. I don't want that to come back. It's just too gimmicky for me for trying to be pure in the wrestling business. Bitch, shut up. Like, that's not happening. But I kind of like. I want him to down the road, like the television title, and be like, nope, these are the rules we're playing by right now. If you want it, come get it. Kind of something like. I would like him to incorporate those rules with himself somehow. Just not necessarily bring that championship back.
Then it was the Kingdom versus Cody, Marty Scurll, and Hangman Page. We don't know how Marty Scurll felt about this match, but he was there nonetheless. A nice six-man match here. Cody, he was the most over in the match, which I thought was very interesting there, with all the shenanigans that he's pulled in New Japan and being that dastardly heel on being the elite. He still got the most cheers out of everybody.
It's just that power of having popular merchandise everywhere. And
sure.
You got
the Kingdom factor.
You got the Kingdom out there, so it was proper response for who is out there.
Taven, of course, still has the Ring of Honor. He's got a brand new T-shirt saying "Kiss the Ring." Of course, that ring came into play with the finish. He punches Cody in the face with the Ring of Honor, and the Kingdom gets the win.
I love the axe getting thrown out.
Yes, he's got the actual axe, and the referee ejects the axe, and another referee comes down to take the axe out of there.
Got axed.
Yes, Big big main event, the Young Bucks versus the Best Friends. And again, this was all about Matt Jackson's back coming into play and being injured. And yeah, it was just the way he sold it in the match just put so much sympathy on Matt Jackson.
This is the only match I missed on this card.
It was so good too, because it was like Nick trying to help Matt get guys into position so that they could do their double team moves, and it was just that's funny
because that's how Roppongi 3K was, like trying to do like that double suplex, and the one's back just gives, and they both collapse, and that's where things went haywire. So that's awesome. It's like almost a mirror of each other right now.
I like the Best Friends on Being the Elite have been playing dicks in real life. They got sunglasses on. They're being pricks to fans and other people.
Saw Trent had a cigarette.
Yeah, so that came into play in the match. They both put their sunglasses on. Yeah, Trent lights up a cigarette in the middle of the match, gets super kicked out of his mouth at one point, and one of the Young Bucks has to put it out on the apron. So yeah, fun stuff early, but the Young Bucks do get the win with the Meltzer driver. In the end, they barely pull off the Meltzer driver with a little bit of help from Nick getting the opponent up on Matt's shoulders. But yeah, fun match there between those two teams.
Good trial run.
Absolutely. So let's get to this week's Ring of Honor TV. We had the Beer City Bruiser and Brian Malonis teaming up for the first time, and it was going to be against Coast to Coast. But of course, since the Beer City Bruiser and Malonis were out there with the TV champion Silas Young, Kenny King came out to second the Coast to Coast team. The thing quickly erupted into a brawl, and then we had our Ring of Honor holla holla moment, and this became a 6-man tag after the break. It was Kenny King getting the pin over Silas Young with the Royal Flush. This, of course, playing into Kenny King getting his upcoming rematch for the television title, and neither Coast to Coast or the brand new tag team Brian Malonis and the Beer City Bruiser having to take a fall there. So
I like the Coast to Coast guys tossing Silas Young and Kenny King's finisher.
Yes, and I like that they're protecting both of those teams with the skullduggery and with Kenny King getting the clean win.
I mean, do you really expect Beer City Bruiser, Brian Malonis to go too very far?
No. And it was interesting that the big dogs after the match challenged Coast to Coast. So the big
those two guys can run their height, dude.
The big dogs can afford to take a loss. So I look forward to Coast to Coast getting a big win there. Then we had the first round match, the very first round match for the Women of Honor tournament. Mandy Leon versus Madison Rayne.
Great start, too.
I don't have that same opinion, but go ahead. What were your thoughts,
Well,
Joe?
just for the sheer fact of like starting it with names is one.
That's
this is a big story.
I like
not saying that there wasn't their faults, but like I don't know, it just felt different than even like an NXT women's match. It was just slightly more Ring of Honor style. They did have some rough spots in the match.
I thought Madison Rayne looked good, and I thought it was cool. I agree to have that name in the opening round of the tournament adds some gravitas, some name value to the tournament. And I even liked Mandy Leon's promo going into it, talking about how she started in Ring of Honor, trained in the Ring of Honor dojo, and has been wanting a women's division in Ring of Honor since the beginning. So and then I liked Madison talking about, you've been here in Ring of Honor since the beginning, but I've been doing this a lot longer.
They're definitely putting trying to make her like the star of that Women of Honor division, which she's, like you said, she's their dojo and everything. I'm with Joe. I actually I enjoy this match, one of my better matches I've seen from her, or actually enjoyed of her on there and everything. Like, she's still rusty in some spots, but I thought it was a good showing out of her. I thought it was better than that tag match, though, from the free per-view or whatever. That one was just kind of rough for me. You could tell that, God, it's going to be so hard not to call her Emma, that Tenille, just like you can see that she's just on this other level. She's on the Neville level.
Yeah.
But it's so good for those ladies right now, because someone like Mandy Leon, she's kind of just mainly been wrestling the same couple chicks, in the same cycles, which is great.
Right.
But
I think
bringing in this, bigger talent is going to be such a great move. And,
absolutely.
Rumor has it, though, they want to bring in Lo Cherie even. So it's just like they're, bringing in these bigger names definitely help the division even stick out more and help this, Mandy Leon grow into something else bigger too.
Absolutely. The bringing in the Tenniels and the more talented women of the world is definitely
that was a great move by them.
Going to help, because my biggest gripe from this match, and I don't want to dwell on being negative, certainly, but Mandy Leon's some of her offense, her striking looked really, like the kicks and punches and stuff just looked really bad. But she had some good stuff, like it did a cannonball off the apron, for instance, which was really good. And I wanted to contrast and before people, why are you ripping Ring of Honor women, blah blah blah, because just as a complete contrast, I was watching a random SmackDown women's match this week, or was it Raw? Which one is Sarah Logan on? She's Riot Squad.
SmackDown.
So yeah, it was that match on SmackDown this week was like way better.
Yeah, I was about to say, don't dog. I actually was surprised by that this week.
But just in contrast, that was like way better than this match. And no, I'm not trying to knock Mandy Leon, because she's been by all accounts working hard. She's been over in Japan working for Stardom over there.
She's doing a great job.
So she just needs to, she it's a continual process. You need to work on it. She's continuing to improve, which is why I don't want to spend too much time being negative here, because let's face it, WWE has really scooped up all of the best women talent, aside from some that want to, stay in Japan and
even
whatnot.
Like Impact right now, that's probably one of their biggest, strongest points right now is that women's division too.
Sure. So yeah, it's going to be hard for Ring of Honor to attract those talents with WWE taking so many. Again, Impact, and Japan's got some big things going on with the women's promotions over there too. So they're kind of with them just kind of getting started.
But they latched onto a couple ladies here, and they're growing from them. So
sure.
Good moves for all around for everybody.
So yeah. Well, I'm interested to see how this women's tournament plays out and how it goes going forward. So
I just Mandy Leon's music kind of bugged me a little bit though, because it just needed a burn it down. It was almost Seth Rollins' music.
Well, there's that. Cody chews out the Young Bucks for not saving him last week.
Who were you guys?
The Young Bucks are saying they just got to the building, but I like that we had some follow-up on that angle that happened last week on TV with, the Kingdom beating up Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks not showing up even though the crowd was chanting for them. And, of course, there is the storyline, of course, going on that the Young Bucks are on Kenny Omega's side, so, of course, they wouldn't come out and save Cody Rhodes.
Even I just loved they were chanting for you guys. They were?
Ever humble, those good Christian boys, the Young Bucks. So very fun stuff. Again, the Briscoes talking about they don't care about anyone's well-being. They are coming for their property, the tag team titles, and challenging the Motor City Machine Guns. I'm done with I've had enough of the Briscoes making challenges and threatening promos. Let's just have the match already.
What else can you do with these guys though? They've been in Ring of Honor for so long, doing the same rinse and repeat cycle.
I'm just ready for the match. That's all.
I was gonna say.
they've been building it up a little too long. Let's have a singles match between.
Is one of them injured? Why did only one of them come out on the pay-per-view
because they beat the shit out of him last week.
Yeah,
perfect.
I think that was what I think. That's
what happened. I'm not lying.
And actually, yeah, you're right. And
that's awesome.
That was. I'm glad you brought that up because that was a good, an interesting point that I wanted to bring up. Is that I kind of like that even though everybody knows that stuff was taped weeks ago, they're keeping the storyline kayfabe. This is what happened on TV, and because Chris Sabin got beat up this week on TV, he's not able to do anything at the house show because he got beat up. So selling those injuries.
I'm so glad they're not going to have to think about this kind of shit anymore, where they can actually think about the product. Not, okay, this was this week's episode. You're not going on. It's just a minor distraction that's going to help further them,
and that it will help. Podcasters and fans alike that want to just keep
talk about
what's going on with the storyline, and
they're not going to have a New Japan guy come off the championship belt 4 weeks after he lost it.
Right, hopefully. Hopefully. Well, that's the thing is the New Japan thing could certainly come into play. Although I do like this idea that with Honor Club, that I feel like the idea is going to be that Honor Club is going to be the place to be to keep up with Ring of Honor. And they're still going to have the free TV show, but I feel like it's going to be, there's going to be, the TV show is going to be promos and angles pointing you to, okay, coming up this week on Honor Club, this is what we're building up to, the live stuff going on. So I kind of like that might be the direction going forward.
Yeah.
Whereas now is, the TV show is kind of on its own plane or whatever, and then the pay-per-view happens, and then 3 weeks later we get follow-up TV. I like this idea that we could get some kind of follow-up a lot sooner post pay-per-view with Sooner TV, which
definitely.
I mean, I'm hoping that maybe we get newer TVs. Well, that's the thing is, if they could get newer TVs, quote unquote, on Honor Club, why not? Why can't they get them on actual TV? So I guess we'll see how everything plays out once this Honor Club actually rolls out here soon. But I'm excited to actually see this Briscoes versus Motor City Machine Guns match, and I'm tired of talking about it. But we do got a couple of weeks left, so maybe some singles matches between Briscoes and Shelley and
Or they
Saban.
just keep beating the shit out of everyone.
Oh, I guess that'd be okay too. But that'd be more of that'd be stealing the Addictions gimmick, where they come out and ruin everything that makes everybody happy. So there's that. Big main event this week was Punishment Martinez versus Dalton Castle. Again, you talked about this, Joe. You liked Punishment versus Flip Gordon a little bit better than this main event, which was taped several weeks ago. But this one was where we had Marty Scurll, of course, on commentary talking about the skullduggery, of course.
You've got to use a few tricks up your sleeve, if you know what I mean, a bit of the old skullduggery.
But Dalton Castle does get the win with a very tight roll-up after countering the Psycho Driver from Dalton Castle.
I just feel like with these two, every once in a while, they both just have a bad match. They both had bad matches. Like, it was just their night to have bad matches. It just seemed sloppy compared to what I've been seeing. Like, I've actually been having a lot of fun with Punishment Martinez, going crazy with his kicks, flying out of the ring. He's been hitting his spots.
Yeah.
But this match, neither of them were hitting their spots for me.
Punishment attacks the boys after the match and stands tall there. But Dalton Castle getting the win. I agree. I thought it was a little bit of a clash of styles here, but Punishment, I think, being the greener of the two, yet maybe not ready for this big spot at this time. But again, I agree that I thought he looked good in the Flip Gordon match, but maybe it was just because he was booked to win that one. So there's that.
Good point.
Too. Next week, we're going to get the Hung Bucks versus SoCal Uncensored. Ooh. So maybe more answers as far as what's going on with the Hung Bucks and those 6-man championships. I don't recall if they said it was a title match or not, but I assume it would be, but I'm not sure. Should be, you'd think. But
let's hope.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really care, to be honest with you. But it is odd that Hangman is kind of on the Cody side of things, and the Young Bucks are seemingly on the Kenny Omega side of things, and they have those tag team, those 6-man titles between kind of coming in between them, perhaps at some point. But it'll be an interesting story to follow if you're not following.
Just so many angles with the fucking Bullet Club.
Yeah, and
it's so awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. It gives us a lot to talk about.
And the thing with them too right now is just the Bullet Club championships aren't really on their mind unless you're Bullet Club OG, like Bad Luck Fale and Gorillas of Destiny. Like, I just love how they're just kind of like, we take a step to the side. You guys drawing bullshit.
Well, going back to the kind of that Kenny Omega and Kamagoye, Kota Ibushi.
Oh.
Going back to their little documentary on New Japan World, Kenny Omega looks excited to show the world the Golden Lovers. So that's kind of his motivation. And Kenny Omega's motivation has always been to be, I'm talking storyline wise here, has always been to be the greatest professional wrestler, to win the championships, to show the world great pro wrestling. And in that documentary, he talked about, Cody, the motivation's been different. It's about being the leader of the Bullet Club. And for me, it's never been about being the leader. It's been about being the greatest wrestler. And so Kenny kind of taking himself out of that element and putting himself back in the element of a Kota Ibushi and wanting to show the world the greatness that was their tag team, I think is interesting, as well as the possibilities of Kenny and Kota Ibushi's singles runs going forward should be interesting as well. So, all right, let's wrap this thing up with the Kojima tweet.
Yeah! Now it's time for the Satoshi Kojima Tweet of the Week.
You can follow Kojima on Twitter at cozy_lariat. And this one is actually a link to his Instagram, which shows him working out in the gym, trying to rehab that knee. And this week's tweet is, "Let's work out. Effort is necessary." So follow this show on Twitter at Strong Honor. Make sure you retweet it, tell your friends, tell people about the show, spread the word that we're talking New Japan and Ring of Honor all on one podcast here. So spread that word on social media and on Facebook, facebook.com/Strong Honor Podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at Tommy Stryker, spell Stryker with a Y. And make sure, if you're into WWE and all the other great wrestling in the world, check out our other podcast, The Best Pro Wrestling Podcast, where we talk about all things WWE, Raw, SmackDown, 205 Live, NXT, and
Lucha Underground.
And Lucha Underground.
The
And
best.
when it comes back, we talk New Japan and Ring of Honor on there on occasion
Everything.
too. But everything is over there on The Best Pro Wrestling Podcast. Taco, where can people find you?
Follow me on Twitter at HGREV Taco.
And you can follow me, Joe, at JoeBPWV. That's at Joe, Best Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Thanks for checking out Strong Honor. Bye.
Adios.
Peace.
Kazushika Okada, Michael Elgin.
Fuck Michael Elgin!
Now, Mike Elgin, let me tell you something, boy. You big juiced up jelly bean looking mother.
You ungrateful garbage! Professional wrestling is a fight. Hasta jueves. Adios.